Yancha Campus Series by our distinguished speaker and eminent alumni, Mr. Shogoto Nondi, and along with him, we also have Mr. Arnob Bashu. It would be my honor to introduce them to you all. Mr. Shogoto Nondi graduated from REC Durgapur in mechanical engineering in 1991. He worked as an engineer at Larsen and Toubro. He joined the prestigious Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta in 1994 and graduated in 1996 with a degree of PGCGM General Management. He had been associated with organizations like NIS Pata, Infosys, Catalyst Constellation, Walkwater Consulting. He was also the head of client relations and sales marketing at ISB. He is the founder and lead consultant at METL Global Perspectives and co-founder at Yancha Positive Parenting. He has a deep understanding of business and sales process across rural retail, urban retail, manufacturing, process plants, insurance, financial services, IT, and education. Also, I would like to introduce Mr. Arnob Bashu. He has graduated in BE Computer Science from Jadavpur University and had been graduates from IIM Calcutta and MIT Sloan. He's a co-founder and CEO at Yancha and had been associated with McKinsey and Company, Walkwater Consulting, and METL Global Perspective. Sir, I'd like you to start with the lecture. Thank you.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. And you all can put us. So just a little about Arnob. Arnob and I founded Yancha around 2 years back. We have been doing some work on this for the last 6 years, and together, as you would see, both of us are engineers, but both of us are in a very different line altogether now. And so that's keep that perspective in mind, because this whole time that you spend in college is basically a transition time when you transition into becoming a young adult. So what I will do is to put up a presentation now, and I would request all of you, all those who have bandwidth, please switch on your videos, so that we can see you all. Arnob, you have something to say before we start while I upload?
This is actually an interesting platform, and thank you all of you for giving us this opportunity. And one interesting thing that I would like all of you to keep in mind is that there would be a lot of interesting insights here. So it would be better if at some point in time some sort of interactions also happen. And if you have some sort of questions in your mind, it would be good if you can put it up in the chat box, which we can take it up during the Q&A session. Thank you so much.
So can you all see a presentation up there?
Yes, it's visible.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we are trying to do through Yancha Teens is to show you the path that you are to follow, or you might like to follow, as you move towards becoming a young adult. So this is a transition time, and also understand that. So yeah, one more question there is that some of you, do you have your parents sitting with you, or you are alone there? So if you have parents who are interested to sit through this session, they can as well sit through, no issues. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So Yancha Teens is about shifting to become a responsible adult. Now, what happens is that as you go into the college and you kind of shift out from school, or rather as you are into teens and become around 20-21 types, and you actually get more and more exposed to the external environment, and this therefore starts shaping your likes and dislikes and starts shaping who you are. Now what's very important is that while this shaping is happening, understand that the basis that the foundation that you are standing on is the foundation that has been built by you, for you, by your parents. The behavioral foundation and the way things are. Now, whichever way it is, you need to understand the foundation. You need to understand the subsequent interactions that you have gone through, and therefore that starts defining who you are. And that's important to keep in mind, because that will then take you further, or if you can identify certain things that you need to relook into and evaluate in yourself, you need to start doing that now, because that's what is going to carry you through the rest of your journey. So there are two pillars of development. Now, as Arnab said, I'm sure while we walk you through this presentation, you might have a lot of doubts, clarifications, or questions which come up. And feel free to write them in the chat box. We'll try to address them. What we are walking you through today is an awareness session. And there is a complete 6 months program that we are actually designing around it, and which will be available in a short time, in the next few months. So that session is separate, but you have to go to, but this is the awareness session that we take you through. So there are two pillars of development. One is, of course, the academic side of it, which we all know very well, which is school and college, and how you do your self-study and your tuition, and all of those things are a part of this academic development. And the other side of the development, other pillar of development, is the behavioral development. Now, behavioral is all about how do you look at things? Are you a pessimist? Are you an optimist? Do you look at possibilities? Do you look at solutions? Do you look at problems in every situation? Or are you, do you try to make things better? Do you try to ignore the way things are, though you are not happy with the way it is? So these are all behavioral. And believe me, what takes you further in life is this behavioral bit of the journey. And you have achieved the academic bit. Maybe some of you will do some more studies on it. But but there is just so much that the academics can do. So behavioral bit is all about, it gets shaped by parents, which I said was the foundation that you get. Then there is the social circle that you select. See, the difference is that parents are given to us, we don't choose them. They are given. But friends and the social circle is a choice that an individual can exert. So therefore, the kind of friend and social circle that we get into is something that we decide, and that therefore the responsibility totally lies with the individual for that. And here, the third element that we add is Yancha, and Yancha helps you streamline your behavioral elements so that you can achieve your full potential. So basically, a lot of you will see that, while we keep on going through the journey of life, some of you will be happy about what you have achieved. Some of you will be achieving things but not happy about it. So there are different aspects to it. But then achieving full potential means that you have been able to successfully reach that destination that you are supposed to. Now, this is all a discovery, so life is all about a discovery. And the more you understand that, the more you will realize that aspect of it. So the role of parents till now has been like that of this potter. You see the hands, the energy is supplied by the wheel. The clay, you can imagine yourself as the clay. The parents give the energy, they shape the child. And when they shape the child, it either comes out as a very nice vase, or if they put the wrong amount of energy at the wrong time, and if the child is not shaped properly, obviously the vase doesn't take shape. But what do we mean? If you try to take this shaping to perfection, and what do we mean in the context of you all? What it means is that you all have some innate capabilities. You all have some interests, and aligning those interests with the opportunities is what gives you this particular perfection. So when your own innate capabilities and your interests aligned with the opportunities, you actually get what you are. You actually walk the right path. However, this path keeps on evolving with time. So there is no destination, there is no fixed path there. It keeps on evolving with time. So what we are attempting to do here is that for you who is attending this session, who must be just a college graduate or into college, for you, it means that you define success and what it means to you. You create a path to achieve success, based on areas of strength and hard work. You identify behaviors which are holding you back, handle your distractions and fears, and seek support from your parents to achieve your objectives. And for the parents, it's all about having a very good association with child, understand the child well, understand you all well, and therefore be able to work together. Basically, over time, parents evolve from being the people who have guided the child, have taught the child, and have been the role models for the child, to become a facilitator and a coach in this whole journey. Those parents who are unable to make this transition hit a roadblock with the child, and therefore there are issues in certain household where kind of they don't really talk much or exchange much views. I hope none of such situation exists in your cases. Now, what is very important, therefore, is that when you are looking at um, development, development is is beyond this study and job and life. That is what we actually try to do. You all have studied hard. You all have got into good colleges, good college you are in, and you go for a job, and then you think that life is like a journey. But then where is the journey? What is the destination? How do you go about? That is what is very important. And therefore, what is your role to play? What is your parents' role to play? How do you come together? These are all these various whys which need to be addressed. Also keep in mind that the times have changed drastically. So when times have changed drastically, and often you will see that what you have learned is outdated in a moment of time, say in 2 years, that's not relevant anymore. The fundamental capabilities which are needed change a lot, therefore. Any questions till now? Any thoughts?
No, sir, not yet.
Not yet? Okay. So the question therefore is that what is the role of parents here? What is the role of child here? So what does it take to nurture the children of the future? Now I know parenting, you all think that you all are adults, but the fact is that parenting is a whole process of till the time the child becomes independent, and therefore it starts from for your parents, it would have started from the time you are absolutely small children, and it goes all the way till the time you are independent enough to take the right decisions. This goes up to perhaps 22, 23, or maybe 25 years types of a journey. But then what does it take to nurture the child of the future? If as a parent, they are replicating what they got from their parents for nurturing the child of the future, it doesn't work. So therefore, parents also, if a few parents are attending this session, then they need to know that how do you manage your child in this particular situation, where the things are rapidly evolving, and therefore, how do you get about doing this thing? So what are the skills of the future? What it said for the parent is that the parent has to be relevant for the child today, so that they can always be there for the child tomorrow. So what are the skills of the future? Now, if you look at it, now where does this parenting challenge come? Where does this issue come? Is because the skills for the future are very different from the skills that were there. Earlier, it was all about joining a college, getting a job, then get settled in life, look for a company which is a stable one, spend your life there. That whole formula doesn't work today. Nowadays, people want to go for entrepreneurship. They want to go for innovation. They want to go, the top skills, if you see out here, analytical thinking, active learning. These are some of these skills are never taught in colleges also. These are some of these things which people have to acquire over time. You all have to start learning them and acquire them over time, solving complex problems. Critical thinking, creativity, leadership. So you see that, resilience, reasoning. Now these are the ideation. These aren't taught actually, but these have to be picked up. And through good parenting, again, some of these things can very smartly be inculcated into the children over time. And in case it's not about parenting, what we have also done in Yancha is that what we have seen is that children who take responsibility, or youngsters, I'm sorry, I shouldn't call you children, you guys are all adults now. So young adults who want to take on these skills, they need to be able to take on the full responsibility of their lives. And how should they do that? That is one thing that we have also defined in Yancha. As we go ahead, I'll show you how we do this. So one of the things which happens with parents over time is that the generational gap sets in. So as youngsters or as young adults, as you grow stronger, your parents are also going older, and they have to manage these emotional excesses of the child. They have to guide the child towards a new direction. They have to help the child overcome adversity. At the same time, the child thinks that they don't need support anymore because they are adults now, they are young adults. So this is a very tricky transition to handle, because and if it is not handled well, then there are issues which crop up between parents and children. If they are handled well, it's a beautiful synergy which starts working in the households. So what we'll walk you through is these 10 small bits of information, and what we expect you to ask us small questions or little possible things which will help you clarify your understanding on these. Because understand one thing, that whatever you have learned till now is sufficient for you to get a job. And as we showed to you the skills of World Economic Forum, what takes you further is something else, which is all behavioral capabilities. And those then need to be inculcated in an individual. And that inculcation, yes, of course, parents can support, but a lot of it you have to do for yourself. Okay, so handling teens, a small guide for a small tip for parents again is that handling teens is very different from handling children. So therefore, if some parents are handling their teenagers in the same manner as they were handling the individual as a child, then things would not work so very well, because teenagers are far more evolved in their understanding and the way things are working. Now, there is very good research on this by Maurice Massey, and what it says is that uh, if you go towards the end, the last para, it says that the years 14 to 21, this is where the social interaction with other people begins. And this, as a young adult, relationships then define the rest of the life that you all will be going to lead. So the kind of relationships you form are dependent on how you were brought up in the beginning. So for example, uh, if you're forming associations based on who is the smartest guy, or are you forming an association based on uh, whom I get along the best with, who is behaviorally most likely to like me. So there are different ways in which people tend to associate, and the way you associate depends on the way you were brought up. So it's very important for you, therefore, to be able to judge yourself, to be able to analyze where are you going right, where are you going wrong, and therefore be able to set yourself right. Now, the socialization period, because a lot of it is dependent on the way teenagers evolve and the kind and when the young adults evolve, it's very important for you to understand your social circle. Is this social circle the one which is going to help you meet your full potential? Is it the one which you can associate with? Otherwise, yes, of course, you make friends in college, but when you're trying to achieve your goal in life, you need to constantly evolve your social circle or your network Now, by social circle, I am definitely not meaning the social circle of WhatsApp or Facebook or Facebooks and all that. That is absolutely an irrelevant thing. What I want to say here is that it is about the social uh, circle which you try to create so that you can reach your full potential. That is the important aspect of the whole thing. So teens, as teens and as individuals, you go through rapid development, and what you need to understand is that through your adolescence, again, research shows that those teens who have got very close association with parents, they actually have very good developmental journey going forward. Again, any questions till now?
So you may check the chat box.
Or is it? Can someone help me with the chat box? If there are questions, can you kind of, read out?
Yeah. So how can one control the negative impacts of social interactions on self-esteem?
Fantastic. Okay. Any other? Why I'm not responding is that some of them might get addressed during the course of this itself.
No, so there's no other.
Okay. But these are the kind of questions which are very, very relevant. See, some things what we are talking of is that, what is self-esteem? So what you need to first understand is that what is self-esteem and what does it mean to me? And therefore, is that right? Okay, so let me carry on, and then somewhere, hopefully, we will come to some kind of a understanding on this topic, and understand one thing: these behavioral elements, they are very, very deep, and unless at this age you start taking them out and removing the roadblocks from your mind and your heart and life, you will be carrying that baggage with you for a long time otherwise. And that baggage is something which is going to destroy you over time. And we don't want that, obviously. So what's very important, destroy you means you don't reach your full potential. You'll reach individual leads a mediocre life. That's what not someone aims for. You guys have worked so hard, got such a qualification. So you have to be raring to go. So therefore, all these behavioral baggages, you need to be able to identify and you need to be able to handle them. So how does this come in? Even if someone says that I want to kind of, isolate myself and all, and I'm self-reliant, still, as you grow, competition starts catching up with you. There's a lot of outside influencers which start affecting the individual, like competition, the development, conceptual development, uncertainties. How will I do well? Will I get this job or not? All these kind of things are there. There are many, many things. We have all gone through those. Now, and then this external environment gives rise to a lot of pressure internally. Now, internally can also be like, there is a bit of self-esteem, which we had talked of in that queer question. And yes, so self-esteem. Now, self-esteem can be due to anything. It can be due to the what you think about yourself, or someone has said something, and therefore how much of impact you let it happen to you. See, there is a difference between humans and any other kind. Humans have the right. We have intellect. That's where the role of the mind comes in. So we have the ability to choose. So animals, it's all about fight or fright. Here is a stimulus, there is a response. That's what Stephen Covey is all about. But when that is like an animal, there is a stimulus, they give a defined response. But in humans, between a stimulus and a response, you can choose. So choose right. So you have to be able to choose right. And if your conditioning, if your friend circle, if you have chosen the right set of um, people to be around with you, you will be able to overcome all these issues. But the question is that, have you chosen the right set of people to be there with you? So there are strong emotions. The other side is strong emotions. How do you handle them? How do you get over them? There might be uh, aggression developing in an individual. There might be anxiety, stress giving rise to some kind of outburst. How do you handle that? So these are all feelings. And how do you handle that is by developing a very strong sense of responsibility. The anchor feeling in this is a sense of responsibility where you say that I am responsible for who I am. I am responsible for my behavior. I am responsible for my success. Till the time people keep on saying that I am not responsible for my success, something else is, and people blame others, those people will never be able to go ahead. So the moment you have a sense of responsibility, which is very strongly developed in you, you automatically start getting that feeling of happiness. Now, don't confuse this happiness with the art of living happiness. This is a state. Happiness is a state which doesn't mean that you always have a smile on your face, but you know that you are in control. You will be in control. Yeah. And that happiness gives rise to a feeling of resilience. Means if something goes wrong, you know you can counter it. You know you can come up. You know you can fight it out. Or you take some time. That happiness gives rise to something else called hope. Now, if an individual has no sense of responsibility, that individual starts behaving through helplessness. Now, no sense of responsibility means first and foremost responsibility towards self. Then comes the responsibility towards all those where I can influence positively. That it's like a big circle, as big a circle one can create. Then we have that helplessness manifests as rejection or hopelessness. I can't do it. I can't. So first and foremost is that if you are the current situation is tough for nearly a year, people have been at home, you are unable to meet your friends or go to a hostel life or enjoy your college. So if someone has come into this hopelessness, rejection, or helplessness state, understand that it's it is something that you have to do yourself. You can't say that I wish this went away and then I will be happy. It's never like that. You are happy because you have to do certain things your way. In spite of the situation, people have to be able to handle it. So that's how it comes. And this comes in various ways. For example, sometime later, you must have read of so many cases where there are job losses and all. They have impacted families significantly. But here is an event which has happened, which is, of course, a very difficult event. Now, as a result of it, does the person show helplessness, or does the person just be neutral to that event? If I show helplessness, I make myself feel worse about it. The event is like that, you make it into a monster in that case for yourself. That also further decapacitates the capability for an individual to come out of that situation. It's very important, therefore, to be able to develop this sense of responsibility. The sense of responsibility gives happiness, it gives resilience, hope, and therefore the ability to counter all the influences which comes from outside and therefore within. As I said, research findings, please do keep on writing your questions on the chat box. In case we are unable to address those today, we can continue these discussions one-on-one later. Yeah? So these are important discussions.
So I will bring the questions to you in case if you miss it out in the chat box. If a new question arrives, I will ensure it.
Sure.
I read it out to you.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, do that. Is this making sense to you all?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Someone
See,
else also?
actually,
I'm
most of
waiting
us
to
are
hear.
habituated asking questions at the end, so maybe that's why people are waiting.
No. Yeah. But what I do is that we try to give you some scope to ask them in between so that you don't hold it for too long in your mind and you kind of, lose the thought.
Forget that and all.
Yeah, absolutely. So keep a small little pen with you also, pen and paper, because, we will talk of your goals and all. And if you can put them down, it will help you. Okay, someone else also. Just do open your mic and let us know how or what is it that's going on in your mind now.
They're following everything, trying to relate what happened in the past 5-6 years with us.
Yeah, do let us hear. Do let us hear. We are wanting to. We want to listen to you all a little. Then we proceed.
So I have questions related to goal setting, so I'm waiting for those sections and all to come in some
Okay,
way.
they will come. Okay. What else? What is your goal, by the way? What is your time horizon for a goal? Yeah.
I'm actually, I'm taking the CAT exam and all, so related to that.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
Very fond of IIM Calcutta, by the way. So yeah, that's my goal. One of my goals.
Okay, cool. You'll achieve that. That's simple. You just need to work hard. That's all. Some goals are easy to achieve. It just is a direct relation to the effort that you put in. And subject to, of course, a competitive situation, which you all know. But certain goals, as in the direction that your life is going to take, is a goal. When you say, where will I be 10 years from now? What will make me happy? Will a six-figure salary make me happy, or will my ability to influence large decisions related to the country and the way it is running make me happy? Therefore, what should I do? So these are the kind of bigger questions, which is the time now for you all to start asking yourself. Okay, so research findings. Good relationships between parents and adolescents lessen the likelihood that teens will exhibit problem behaviors. So if you have a goal, which is a lofty goal, you want to go big on it, and you want to even achieving IIM Calcutta is a lofty goal. Yes, when you go for that, you have to have the support that is necessary. So it's very important for you to have a very good association at home and supportive parents at home, and so that as a teenager, as a youngster now, at a young adult, you can go and ask your parents, saying that this is what I'm trying to do, so this is the kind of support or that I need, and they will then be able to provide that to you. Otherwise, what happens is that they're not clear as to what the individual is, what the youngster is supposed to achieve, and therefore there's a whole lot of miscommunication which starts cropping up in between. So what happens is that with in your teens or in your young adult stage, we have this a few things which are very fundamentally different from the way it happened during our parents' time, your parents' time, which is like technology has evolved, exposure to outer world for young adults increases. There's a lot of career choices that you have. MBA is just one of them. Uh, I know a child who asked me saying that I just want to go to Canada. That's about it. So what do I do? So and that child is now studying to be a dentist because that was the simplest way to reach Canada. So that's about it. So if that is the goal, then that is the way. So the other is restlessness. Teens are very restless. They want to make things happen now. However, certain things time time take its own course. Uh, so the shift has been when you keep in mind again those economic indicators of the World Economic Forum, was that the shift has totally become from getting a job to reaching full potential. And if you want to be successful in your life over time, you have to look from winning competition, you have to shift to leading a meaningful life. So it's not about did I do better than that guy or that girl. It's not about that anymore. What it is all about is that what is my focus in life, and am I taking the steps to achieve it, and what are those steps, and in those steps therefore what is it that I need to do. Parents then therefore shift from the role of a teacher to that of a facilitator and then that of a coach. And this is quite a transition that parents themselves have to make, and therefore as a child or as a young adult, you need to be able to work with your parents in that, so that they help you in this whole process. So when we talk of developing teens, this is basically, you need to, you and your parents, they need to understand each other. You both of you need to discuss, keeping an open and unbiased view. Both of you should be able to sit together and create. For example, if you have a goal in mind, you should be able to create and therefore evolve the behaviors to move towards that direction. For example, I also know a lot of guys who aim to be in IIT. And if you ask them, I want to study in IIT Kanpur and all that, but the efforts that they are putting in is so minuscule that they will never be able to go there or even reach somewhere close. Forget even RECs or NITs. So the fact is that it's very easy to have a goal. I want to be there. But then is the individual putting enough behavior, enough effort in the right direction to be able to reach that goal? That is also very important because there are many who are putting in that effort also. Okay, so whenever this question comes, this is the time when others can ask me questions. Now, and this is the time when we can have a small little discussion about it. So do you have a goal in your mind? So forget that does your child, but do you have a goal in your mind? That's important. And we'll then walk you through it. So goal, short term, long term, getting into IIM is a two-year kind of a thing. But what is it that you want to do? For example, Arnav went into IIM and then he joined McKinsey. Then he has been posted in for consulting assignments globally. But then he left all of that, and I'm so happy that he's both of us could form Yancha. So it's not that so goal keeps shifting. Yeah. So one has to therefore understand that what is it, and it's not that you will be able to define it today. So the way to understand is that I want to achieve so and so. I have tried to achieve that. I put in my full effort. Fine, maybe I got through. If I get through, am I feeling happy? Am I feeling satisfied with what I am doing? If you are not, remember that sense of responsibility, happiness, that gives to resilience and hope. So if you're not feeling that happiness and not feeling satisfied, that means you are not really achieving your goal. You might be earning money, you might be earning status, you might be doing big things, but not your really true goal that you want to achieve deep down.
Sagat, I would add on here.
Yeah.
Not only that, on top of that, one important aspect that you need to keep in mind is that the goals definitely could be larger goals which you need to achieve. But at the same time, those goals need to be broken down into realistic ones which you can actually achieve. And during that journey, all of us during our childhood have played those games, right? Where we keep on joining the dots and later comes up. So it's like when you are studying in this college, your job now is to focus on whatever skills that you can adopt from your academics part, as well as the behavioral aspects that we are talking about, because that is not available in the curriculum. So can we build this together so that whenever I am thrown into challenges, I'm able to take it. So goal setting comes from that realistic understanding of things, and then small achievements. By connecting those dots, you reach a particular destination, and this journey of connecting the dots is where you will find the most interesting aspect and the most interesting learning. So keep doing that. That will be the most happiest part of your life.
Yeah, and just to go beyond this, I will also say that you don't know the dots yet. So you don't know the dots, you don't know what's going to happen, and in that you have to navigate. It's fantastic. It's a great journey that all of us can achieve if we follow and try to reach our full potential. Else, yes, all of you will get into good jobs, you will get into good families, you will have your own families, all that will happen. But then you might or might not reach your full potential, and that's where the difference is. Okay, so how many of you have parents sitting with you? Else I will skip this section. That's why I'm asking.
So I think none of us.
None of you? Yeah, then this section is basically for the parents. So I will kind of. All I can say is that there are, see, all of you have gone through some type of parenting. Okay, there might be parents who are very supportive. There might be parents who are very strict, like they say harsh parenting. These have impact on the children. Now, these are the 5 or 6 types of parenting. Like one is that your parent is very highly demanding and not supportive, otherwise highly demanding and highly supportive, which is the best thing. They guide as well as support, which is the authoritative. Or they can be harsh. Some of them can be very tough And all of this, what is important to understand is that whether they are right or wrong, they did what they did with what they felt right. But this gives rise to a certain behavior in you as a child. And that is the foundational behavior, which I said, So this foundational behavior, you have to understand when you are going to achieve your goal, this foundational behavior plays a big part. And if there is any corrections that you need to make into that, because ultimately it becomes your behavior. So if there is a very strict parent, it's highly likely that the child will be manipulative. He will do the right things to get through and all these. So these are certain behavioral things which happen. Now you can read a lot about parenting styles on the web, but what's important is that you have been through certain type of parenting, and that has given rise to certain fundamental traits in you. To be able to achieve your goals and full potential, some of those might be helping you, some of those might be limiting you. Whatever limits you or whatever are the roadblocks, those are the ones that you need to eliminate. Start eliminating step by step. It takes time, but it happens. So we say things like, are you scared of something? If you are scared of something, in that case, that fear can become a roadblock, and therefore you need to be able to overcome it. So are you scared? Some of you do you have some scares, deep fear in you? Fear of failing in exam? Is that something that any of you have?
No, sir.
Yes, sir, sure. We have this thing in our mind, like
Yeah. And why
particularly
do
in
you have?
competitive exams.
Yes, absolutely. Not
Somebody
being
when
able to
somebody
get through.
loses.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
being able to get through. Now I understand. You understand competition, but is there a reason why you started doubting yourself? Now, if you start asking
Maybe
these, yeah, if you
past
start asking
statistics,
these
maybe in
questions,
some way.
yes, yes, yes. So if you start asking yourself these questions, you will see that when you are growing up, there's some kind of discussions would have happened, which kind of started doubting, which made you doubt yourself, and therefore you kind of restricted yourself. So some others also, you can speak out if you have fears, because these fears you have to be able to diagnose, you have to be able to overcome. Else what happens is that it'll hold you and not let you take that leap. Any of you who don't know how to swim?
Yes, sir. I don't know how to swim.
So do you have a fear of water, or you're fine with water?
No, sir. No fear.
No fear. So
Yes.
it's if you're in a boat, you're very comfortable.
Yes, sir. But sir, but if I am at very high,
Yeah.
mm, then probably I think that I may fall down like that.
Yeah.
Means height may be a fear.
Yes. Yes. Interesting. Interesting. Because uh, what happens is that there are two things to it. There's a medical dimension to it that I am not commenting on. You might have vertigo. If someone has vertigo, he has fear of heights. Of course, there's a medical dimension. He feels dizzy. That's a different issue altogether. But if there are a lot of these fears which are restrictive, I can't do it, or if I attempt doing that and I get it wrong, my friends and colleagues will laugh at me, and I don't want to be laughed up at. That's a self-esteem kind of a fear, and that stops an individual from growing. So what's very important is that you have to clearly be able to assess, what is your fear that you are carrying with you, which might hold you back, and therefore be able to overcome it. What we have done is that ultimately you make a lot of decisions in life, and when you make your decisions, it's a combination of four choices that four factors that are there, four elements. First is your attitude. Second is your perspectives. Third is your decision making capability. And the fourth is the resources which are available, because resources influence the kind of decision that you make. And when you go through these four are not one after the other. These are like, happening together. These kind of things happen in your mind constantly in every situation. And once you start breaking up, so the way is that if you have a choice to make, if you have a decision to make, or if you have a choice to make, you assess these four. We'll go into little details of these four. We assess these four, and when we assess these four, we are able to therefore be able to find out exactly what is stopping me, or how do I make the right choice. For example, here is a very simple instance that we have put together for you. Okay, so just understand this, and you smell good Frankies being prepared on the street corner, and you instinctively want to go for it. A few thoughts come up in your mind. I have had my lunch. There is no need for an additional Frankie. Instead of having Frankie, let me rather give the money to the beggar down the street. She seems to be starving. Immediately, next thought which comes. Should I give the money or buy something and give the beggar? I have the exact amount I need for the Frankie. If I have it now, I will not have the money for the subway ticket to back home. You know, I can't buy the metro ticket back home. I just have money for the Frankie. Then what do? Should I give it to the beggar? Should I buy some stuff and give it to the beggar? Then how the mind is working. I can, because this guy, you know, so then what he thinks is, I can take a taxi and tell my family that I sprained my foot while crossing over the ledge as the reason for taking the taxi. But then father would be upset, as he says, spend money wisely, but never waste. Also, in the last class, we promised to earn a little bit of money before spending. But then the Frankie also helps the person who's working in the shop. He's all sweaty, doing his job diligently over the years. So someone asks him, so friend, do you want a Frankie? The person in the counter asked, and sheepishly I found myself saying, yes, make it with chicken, please. Now, how do you apply this rapid framework? Because what happens is that there's a lot of thoughts. Now, through this simple situation, what we are trying to say is that this is happening constantly. And ultimately, what we do, we tend to justify it. And in this case, is this guy right to have gone for the Frankie? Has he done the right thing? So if I ask you this question, has he done the right thing by having the Frankie? Did he do the right thing?
Maybe no. He was thinking a lot many things, taking a
Yes.
taxi and then giving to the beggar, but end of the situation, he's actually buying it.
So end of the day, ask yourself, you know, how am I making decisions? Am I making these decisions based on what I want and then I justify myself later? You know, or so this is the question that you have to pose to yourself. You know, when I'm saying that you need to correct yourself and therefore get the right behaviors in place, these are the kind of questions you need to ask yourself. And therefore, the rapid framework will help you. Now, when we have this, the complete product of Yancha Teens, that is once we make it ready, this is a 6-month intervention, which helps you become much more stronger to be able to identify where are you going wrong, or not only wrong, you know, what are the corrections that need to be done so that you can achieve. So 4 things in the rapid framework. So let's start with the attitude. What is attitude? Attitude is the overall approach to a situation. A person with a positive attitude will tend to leave any place better than what it was when the person came in. Okay, now attitude also develops over time. A lot of it is also deeply ingrained because of the kind of parenting we have been through. So attitude can be positive, negative, neutral. And positive attitude is the best, you know, always. So you need to assess yourself. Do I have the positive attitude? Do I have the neutral attitude? Do I have negative attitude? How do I go about it? Next is perspectives. In the rapid framework, we had 4: attitude, perspective, resources, decision making. Yeah. When we look at perspectives, the same situation can evoke different perspectives from different people. Perspective is nothing but a point of view. The point of view develops in the individual due to various experiences and the mindsets that has come up during the growing up process. While in college, while in school, it's not only parents, it's also the external interface that you have interacted with. The extent of information available and the effort to find out new information to develop completeness of thought gives rise to the ability to interpret a situation. So perspectives can be self-driven. You know, a situation is there. I go deep into myself, and based on my own experiences, I come to a point of view. I go others driven. Others driven matlab, someone else says that this, you know, I think I should do that. And you don't use your perspectives. you blindly follow the others. That's the other way to look at perspectives. And the third way is to seek out new information. So the right way to develop a perspective is to seek out new, so that you have complete information, and then only you make a decision, you go towards making a choice. Third is resources. Resources, we all know. How much resources do you have? If you have excess, you have under, and how do you use the resources? Under utilization is bad, overutilization is bad. So under usage one should not do. Over usage, exploitation of the resource, one should not do. So one should go for the optimal usage of the resource. Okay, so that's very important, to go for the optimal usage, and therefore you restrict yourself from purchasing anything which is not needed. Why should you purchase anything which is not needed unless you have optimally used an existing resource? And optimal regenerative usage gives rise to endless opportunities, and that is what we call as the circular economy and the climate economy. Next is decision making. When we come to decision, it's a way to weigh multiple options and make choices. Individuals can make decisions impulsively, take a safer option or a riskier option. So there can be three ways to make a decision. The kind of decision you make, one can be calculated, one can be rational, one can be emotional. Rational is a clear-cut, rational, logical thinking being applied without considering the emotional aspects of a decision. Emotional aspects are only the emotional aspects of a decision without considering the rational aspects of the decision. And a calculated one is made through considerable amount of deliberations from both the emotional and the rational aspect. So calculated decision making is the right way to make a decision. So if you are going logical and not looking at emotional, force yourself to look at emotional. And when you if you are going too emotional, not looking at logical, then you force yourself to be logical. And when you put both of these together, that is when you are able to make calculated decisions. So one of the other things which is important to understand here is the aspect of positive psychology. So you can read a lot more about it on the net. So everyone has strengths. Everyone has strengths and everyone has weaknesses. So what we do in positive psychology, or the concept of positive psychology, says that building in the good in life instead of repairing the bad. So you should focus on, if you have, so say you have a roadblock in your behavioral roadblock, related to self-esteem or related to confidence or related to, maybe I'm not very good in English, in speaking English, that has impacted my confidence. Fine. So therefore so instead of living with poor confidence, get better with English. Therefore, have a social circle which can help you improve in it. Instead of, if you want to improve your communication capability, you have to be with friends who are better than you. So if I am with friends who are worse off than me, that might make me feel good, but then that doesn't help me improve my capability in communication then. So that these are various things and various aspects one has to continuously stretch. So focus on the strengths instead of the weaknesses. And this is done by just focusing on these 5 things. One is positive emotions. We have talked about it. Whatever be the situation, try to be positive in that, because negative would not help you in any way, because that negative emotions only help you, reduces your capability to carry out any work. Positive emotions only help you overcome and find out a solution. The next is engagement. Find out what are those things where you're totally engaged. You lose track of time when you're doing those. Those are the things which will give you rise to your full potential. Third is positive relationships. Have those relationships which help you think towards solutions, build your esteem, make yourself more capable. Have those relationships. Relationships which are pulling you down are not worth having. So therefore you do away with those relationships, or don't spend too much time having those. The next is meaning. Have a life which is meaningful. That life which makes sense for others, not only for self. That kind of life is meaningful life. And A is accomplishment. Accomplishment means have these goals, a lot of small goals, which all of them align towards a larger goals. That comes to what Arnab was saying also. And this, when you start achieving and accomplishing, you feel happy. These positive emotions come, and therefore further engagement comes in.
Sir, can we take a question? We have a question from Mohammad Nasir.
Yes.
Can we take that question?
Yeah. What is it?
The question is saying that how to handle children when they become angry. So, anger issues, related to anger issues, is asking the question.
Okay. So his parents is asking, or who's asking?
I think maybe he's asking on behalf of his parents, or
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
he says as a brother of someone.
Okay. So the question here is that, anger is nothing but an emotion, and that emotion. So when we look at emotions, I'll give you a short answer now, because when we go to the real big, the long solution of Yancha, we handle these. So whenever there is a strong emotional outburst that a person has, there is a reason for that. That will come from either some insecurity or not being able to. So I am imagining that this is not a small child. It is a youngster. So youngster will have a.
He's asking for his nephew. Actually, he has written. He's asking for his nephew. So maybe he's
nephew's age.
okay. He'll write again. Let me see.
Yeah.
Nephew's age. Yeah. He's written. Give me a minute. Age is 8 years old.
Yeah. So what we are discussing today is for teens. This is not for children. Children need to be handled differently. Okay. So that's why we have it here as Yancha teens. What you can do is that, you go to our website, yancha.in. That's where we will, and you can log on and you get onto it, and we can address this problem of yours. I just don't want to digress, because teens, as you saw in one of the slides before, children are totally in control of parents. They role model the behavior of the parents. Children who are 8 years, up to 8 or 10 years old. Whereas teenagers have their own path created. They have their own behaviors identified, So these are two different things altogether. Yes, so sorry, I'm not taking on that now. But yes, you can ask that question in the Yancha forum, yancha.in, and we'll get back to you on this. So when a person, sorry. Yes, please.
Sir, there's another question from Lisa. So she has written a long message. So she's saying that my devotees, welcome to you, sir. I'm an astrophile and I'm aspiring for the higher studies in aerospace and aeronautical engineering. What's the correct path to follow to reach out to my dream? It's the only thing that will make me happy. Besides, I want to do something for my society to uplift the humanity, because there are a lot of things to be done for my fellow human beings. So this is a question from Lisa Saha. She's asking this question.
So these are statements. So you have a direction in your life, which is to go the astro science way, which is very good. Now the second thing about doing for the society, very often people mistake it by saying that if I have money, I will donate, then my society will be happy. But if you even donate, if you even contribute your time, a lot of good things can happen. So for example, depending on the time available, you can guide small children. Depending on the time available, you can make some small gadgets which can make life easier for those who are living in streets. You can make a small little solar power lamp and distribute it in slums. So many things can be done. So what I would say is that don't confuse between making a big difference. Start by making those small differences. And when you start making those small differences one at a time, kind of a thing, you will slowly see that they start becoming big differences. So when we get caught into making a huge one, so start with your maid servants. Start with those household helps who are coming. You can start with that simple a thing, and you'll suddenly see that you are start making a lot of difference. It's about giving that momentum. I think you all have learned momentum, of course. Mass into velocity. So mass is of others. Velocity, you need to give that small little push in the right direction. It'll start rolling. Yeah. Force is mass into velocity. Mass is the whole population around who need your help. Velocity is that small little idea of yours. When you give that, the whole ball starts moving.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. Yes,
So there's
miss?
another question. Ananya is asking how to be confident while preparing for something which is very new and very tough, or something which she has not done before. How to prepare for something.
Okay, so interesting. New and tough. See, the moment you said tough, in your mind you have said it is tough. You have already introduced a barrier in your mind. So don't say that. Okay. So just say that it is new. There's something exciting for me to learn. Let me just go ahead and crack it. Let me just. I'm sure you have learned so many things in your engineering already. Which is totally new. You have cracked it, no? Because you put in the effort. There is a friend circle around to help you, and you can get through it. So drop that word tough from your mind straight away. The moment you use a negative word like that, instead replace that word tough by I can do it. When you say that, you will automatically be able to overcome it. My answers will always be from the behavioral side because that is how they work. And there can't be, and what do you do? These are all that you do. This slide says exactly the same thing. Apply positive emotions. Okay. Be positive. Forget the tough. Yes, I'm going to do this and I am going to succeed. Engage with your child. Be engaged. Be engaged with those who can help you. Anyone. It doesn't mean your child, your parent only. It can be others in the community who can help you. Seek out for help. You will get it. Build that relationship and find the true meaning and purpose and accomplish. And when this happens, you can. Now you see the image of the person on left of you, Viktor Frankl. Who is he? Now don't Google and find out, okay? So who's he? Any one of you have an idea? Yes, no?
Viktor Frank.
Yeah. Viktor Frankl. Okay, so I guess
These
you
are
don't.
neurologists, related to psychology and all.
Yeah, dekho. This is called Google.
I have actually Googled it.
You have not
I've
even
heard
scratched the
about him, but
surface.
this
Okay.
neurologist word that is coming in
Okay.
was
Okay.
just say
So
that.
do a little more Google later. Read
Okay.
about him. He's a concentration camp survivor. He's a Jew. He survived the most difficult Nazi concentration camps. Now you can imagine the condition of this person, huh? And he comes out alive. And he says in that, and this is where, Lisa, you can draw a line from that book. It's a 100-page book only. You can buy it or you can read it. And it says that how do you find meaning in life? So that is what he says, that when a person can't find a deep sense of meaning, they distract themselves with pleasure or what we call as fun. Okay, so there are such great lives in front of us who we can draw a lot from. Yeah, so definitely do find out this book and go through it. I have a PDF, but I will not send it because it's important that you make that small little effort. And you will see when people in such dire conditions can make a difference, you can also make it happen. Okay. So I know there'll be a lot of questions. Feel free to ask. If we are unable to respond to all of them now, we will try to get back to you and let us see. We can always have some chats. Most important, don't keep these things in your mind because then these are going to affect you going forward. You have to figure out ways to deal with it, and that's what we do in Yancha Teens. This again, as I say, is a initial session. It's a awareness session, and when we will send your email IDs to your coordinator and then send them to us so that when we launch the full product, we'll give it to you. I was just Arnab, you are ready there?
Yes, I am. Yeah. So would you keep on shifting the slides, or should I put it?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, then it's fine. You can go ahead. Yeah. So behavior analysis. The last question that we were put through was about taking up a new subject and why I consider it tough. These are all the behavior aspects that keep on playing in our minds. And it's not about the ultimate, somewhere down the line, I understand the subject, I do not understand the subject. It's about that uncertainty that comes to us, and we are having that fear of that unknown, what will happen if I do not crack this subject, and all these things keep boiling in our mind, and it creates a different negative spiral. And that's where I think we need to ponder, why are we thinking it to be tough? Is it really tough, or is it because I perceive it as tough? And that's why we have to leave those tough out of it and try to move into the new direction. If you have heard of a philosopher, Rumi, he said a very interesting thing, that let the dead leaves drop. So, can we become like that tree, which shades those old beliefs, old leaves, and come up with the new leaves, so that our new thought patterns, our new thinking can then we can prepare ourselves for a newer hope, for a newer learning. Can we move towards that direction? And that is where we need to evolve. And when we evolve, how do we evolve? We have to take charge of things, then we evolve. And to take charge of things, we have to act upon it. In this case, we have to actually go through the subject. If we are unable to understand that new subject, we need to take help from the experts and guides, and then move in a new direction. So we have to act upon it. Now, the research and the studies that Saugata mentioned, this gives us a very strong foundation, that yes, behavior aspect and the behavior development of things will actually help you, because the future skills that are required to actually thrive in this volatile and complex world that is completely and rapidly changing is the important aspect of mindset, where even the knowledge and skills are a given nowadays, because you have it in your palms right now, in the mobile. The way you just googled, you can actually go through a lot of learnings from there. But unfortunately, certain things are not taught through the curriculum or not taught through Google. So you need to build those capabilities to actually thrive, whether you go for higher studies, whether you go for entrepreneurship, but or you go for any other profession. This is where it is very important, and that's why we need to do a lot of behavior analysis to bring those actionable behaviors, which can then be inculcated, that when applied will help us go through that journey, that the rapid journey that we said, of using the knowledge, skills, attitude, and values, using that development framework of Rapid, where we use the resources, we use the attitudes of us, and take those decisions accordingly, so that the choices we make actually helps in the betterment of our lives. And to do that behavior analysis, there are a lot of things that impacts us. And from there, we move into taking responsibilities. These are the 21 behaviors that we have actually put up in our program, which, when taken not in a linear fashion, but when we understand that there are gaps. And how do we understand that there are gaps? I'm sure that you have gone through the survey that was sent to you during the pre-read of the session. And in that survey, what we have done is we have taken the self-rating of yourself in a particular situation, in the particular parameters, and how your parents are also judging you on those parameters. Wherever we find that there is a significant gap in that understanding, this is where we go through our journey of Yancha Teens program. And this is where we then help the engagement and dialogues to happen, so that the next levels can be taken up. Yes, Agata, we can shift to that next slide. And when we talk about that responsibility, if we have that sense of responsibility built in, we now are able to shift through those helplessness situations, those hopelessness, and we move towards a situation where we are resilient, we are confident, we move ahead, and we start galloping towards a better performance. And that is exactly what we need to do. And this is how new process would flourish. At the same time, the home environment should be conducive enough for that. The next slide, please. Yeah, so these are the few parameters, and if you think that these are the certain parameters we wish to display in our lives or something we want to overcome, then this is where exactly you need to start that Yancha journey that we talked about. And this survey that we talked about is exactly the reason we want you to go through. Honest answer actually helps you evaluate. It helps you understand where the gaps are and accordingly mend it and take you forward.
Yeah,
Uh,
just can you hear me here? Arnab, can you hear me?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Just a point here. As you so we did mention that it's important to have a very conducive atmosphere at home. So during the survey, I hope you all have done it, and if you have done it, then identify those places where there is a big gap in perception between what you feel about yourself and your parents feel about yourself. Say somewhere where you have given agree and your parents have given, say, somewhat disagree. So these are definitely the areas which straight away becomes the points where you have a healthy dialogue with your parents. And remember, they are the people who have already gone through a lot of life, so they can guide you on that. So you start with that, though it doesn't replace the Yancha session, but what it does is to start that dialogue of behavioral change that you can simply start and start working upon it.
And when you have that dialogue, what important aspect that comes in is that a constructive feedback will come. And if you have that open and rational mind to accept that, then you can move into a positive direction. That is very important. So these sort of questions would come in, and we have to keep answering them and try to evaluate ourselves in every step of our lives. Now, myths versus facts. Before I go into this, I want you to give me answer to a question. How many of you have heard of Bannister effect? Again, do not Google, but give me an honest answer. How many of you heard of Bannister effect?
No, sir, not heard about that. At least I have not.
I have heard about Bannister effect.
Yeah, can you explain what is it?
So in my sports, powerlifting is my sport. So before, like there are weight categories. So it was believed that no one could have a Sinclair. Sinclair is the total for a particular weight category.
Correct.
Okay. So nowadays, because of the influx of so many talent, the pool is huge. So there are some genetically phenomenal people who are breaking those records year after year. So I've heard about that effect. So people used to block themselves that I cannot achieve this. So if I'm 90% near to this, then I should stop right now and just increase my longevity in the career so that I can perform for more number of years rather than trying to push the envelope.
Right. Initially, Richard Bannister is a person who was responsible for this effect. It talks about a myth. It talks about this myth that a human can actually run 1 mile in 4 minutes. This was a myth that has been in people's mind for many years before it took this person, Richard Bannister, to actually did it within 3 minutes and 42 seconds. And he proved that it's all about in the mind, and these are all myths that can be broken down. And nowadays, if you see, a lot of other people have broken down those records, and it is under 3 minutes right now. In weightlifting also, as you said, there are world records that has happened by putting up the same weight written on that as a label, which they have earlier done and earlier lifted, and then the more weights were put on with the same numbers labeled, and the weight lifting records have happened. So you have to bust those myths. You have to know what are the facts are, and you have to challenge those status quo, and then only you can actually move ahead. So that's what Richard Bannister did. He busted that myth. And the next section that we are talking about is all about these myths and facts. And to go through these myths and facts, what we need to do is we need to have a growth mindset. Now, what is a growth mindset? It is a very interesting research that was done by professor of Stanford University, a psychologist, Carol Dweck, in 2006. It took into consideration different beliefs that we have and challenge them and find out whether we are able to surpass those beliefs and how we can actually grow. Now, what happens is, in general, if you are having a fixed mindset, what happens is you will consider that this is my limit when you face a failure, and you will think that I cannot move ahead, I could not do anything about it. And so when failure comes to you, you consider this as a unshackling thing. It will shackle everything on earth and shatter, and it will be a catastrophe. But if you are harboring a growth mindset, what happens is you will look at failure as a positive opportunity because it has identified your weaknesses. You can then work on it, and then you can be on the path of success. It encompasses a lot of other mindsets that we talk about, like the entrepreneurial mindset, which says that whenever you're down and out, you need to come up, want to become resilient and say that, yes, I have been into down and out, but it is not the state that I am going to be. I will jump back and do something, and I will come out of this situation. There is a traveler's mindset, which says that you are inculcating a lot of other cultures. You are inculcating a lot of new learnings into your gamut. When you are absorbing it with a rational mind, what happens is you are broadening your horizon, the way you look at things and the way you apply yourselves. So all these together are put up in a framework which is called this growth mindset, which allows you to grow as an individual. And there would be a umpteen number of situations in your life where there will be uncertainties, there will be difficulties, there will be challenges, there will be competitions. But if you understand that this is where this is not the end of it, I learn from it, I take a new journey, I discover where the strengths were, where the weaknesses were, and work on my weaknesses, I can move ahead in life. Yeah, next slide, please. So you see that this is the comparative study that fixed mindset people does, and in general, fixed mindset people would not take feedback and criticism in a very positive way, while growth mindset people invariably, inherently would consider that feedback as a positive thing because they will try to find out where the weaknesses lies and then they will move forward. Yeah. The next slide, please. Yeah, so the number one myth that we are talking about is more resources translates into better performance. It is an inherent belief of someone that if we have better resources, we will be doing better, and this is the end of it. Unfortunately, the research at Cambridge University shows a complete opposite direction. It says that if you are working on your abilities with a deliberate practice and proper guidance from the experts, you can actually reach your peak performance. It does not need to have all the resources, but certain resources that you already have can actually help you move into that direction. The next myth that we are talking about is about having pressurized yourself. We think that by pressurizing ourselves, we are actually ensuring our commitments towards a particular goal in mind. But rather than putting that pressure on yourself, what we are doing is by putting that pressure is we are constantly in that feeling of pressure while we are unable to focus unrelentlessly. We need to rather put our energy and direction towards that goal in mind so that our focus and with proper support, those will actually help us in ensuring that commitment that is required to achieve that goal. The next myth that we will be talking about is that we believe that by reading a lot of moral stories, there are a lot of spiritual talks that come through web, through different news channels that offer these things. It's important that we go through them and we will be inculcating good values. It generally doesn't happen like that. So the people who you look up to, your role models, your influencers, your parents, the way they role model things, they demonstrate values. That is what you inculcate and you will exhibit in the near future. So whenever you are exhibiting that, always try to reevaluate whether the things that we are inculcating is in a very positive direction. The way we are behaving with people from different sections of the society, is it the way should I as a person should do or should not do? those initial thinking, those thought process need to come in to responsible young adults so that they become much more mature in taking their decisions. The next myth that we would be talking about is that essentially we have been trained or ingrained this thought in our mind that somebody is doing better than me. So by saying that, I am trying to inculcate this feeling that yes, I have to beat that person to improve. Unfortunately, the research again shows in a different direction. Uh, by comparing with another person, you are actually trying to do something which is called a comparison between an apple and an orange. So apple will produce orange, orange will never happen like that. Apples will be apples, oranges will be oranges. So the best option that you have is to become a better apple. So as a person, your comparison should be with your previous performance, whether you have learned from it, whether you are understanding it, and then you are mending it with concerted efforts so that you're moving in a very positive direction. Otherwise, only comparing with others, it becomes a counterproductive effort, and that's where people start going into a negative spiral, and they do not put in those efforts and they start failing, and they think that since they are not able to do it like the other person, and the other person is much better, that's why they are unable to do, and try to justify that. Do not do that. Try to be the best version of yourself. You do not have a comparison with someone else, you have a comparison with yourself. Try to be the best version of yourself. The next myth that we would be talking about is that in general we tend to take up certain courses which has a better opportunity through the job market. So we will see that someday people will say Harvard will bring up an article saying that data science is the sexiest job of the 21st century, and people will jump on that bandwagon of doing a data science. But you have to understand whether you have that innate capability of nurturing the data in your mind, whether you like it, because data is not a cup of tea of everybody, right? So you have to actually understand what is your area of interest, what is your strength area. Can we work upon that and then find out something which has a better opportunity to thrive? Otherwise, what happens is by doing this sort of things, we are actually limiting our resources. And in this ever changing complex world, what happens is who are constantly and rapidly learning and reskilling themselves, they are the ones who are going to thrive in this rapidly competitive world. So the challenges and competition will come in, but at the same time, if you are behaviorally enabled and nurtured to handle them by using those analytical thinking, the problem solving capabilities, being creative in certain situations which needs that, then you are behaviorally nurtured to handle those situations and thrive in that competitive world. The next section that we want to go through is assessing yourself. Why
Arnab,
do
do you want me to skip to that, implementing Yancha stuff?
yeah, we will go there. I just want to take up the case of Vivek, where so we need to assess certain things. What happens is we all define certain goals in our life, and what happens is sometimes the journey would be a very different. But somewhere down the line, if I have that longing, I would reach a particular goal in a different way. But that will be the journey, and that reaching the destination would be a very fun-filled and interesting journey, and it will be very satisfying. So what happened was this guy Vivek, he had that ambition of joining armed forces. He did not have any other ambition at that point in time, but unfortunately he couldn't clear that examination, and deducted he had to pursue an alternate career, where over time he became an electronics engineer with the DRDO. He was posted in Army missile system setup on the border with the troops, much to his satisfaction at a much later date. What happened here is he constantly was working hard towards that. He would, after being rejected also, he would look at those entrance gate of that army building and think that somewhere down the line, if I have been able to go there, I would be able to do something. That longing helped him in the journey of constantly working hard, aligned to what he wanted to do, and finally he achieved his goal. So this is where we need to keep on constantly evaluating ourselves and move into that direction.
Yeah.
The next section.
Yeah, just one thing, Arnav, I'll just like to add, so see, you just think of it as like a river which has to follow the course, so it has to follow the course. There might be deviations, there might be blockages, there might be waterfalls, there might be rapids in between, but it follows the course in any case. It goes through it and it follows. So it's something like that, that if you have a goal very clear, and it's the right goal, you can't have a wrong goal. You have a right goal which adds value to the humanity, and if you go ahead with that goal, you will automatically achieve it till the time you keep working hard at it. The direction, it's like from a point A to point B, you can go in 3 different ways. So you can take 3 different routes, 3 different roads altogether, but then you will reach from point A to point B only in that case. So the road, let nature or your destiny guide you, and you have to keep on making the effort therefore.
And also one important aspect here is that that B that we have defined as the destination might not be the exact destination. It is what we have thought through. It might be some other destination is waiting for us. That discovery, that journey will also lead you to a lot of interesting insights. We have to be open enough to take that, so that when we take that course along, whenever we reach B, we understand whether we stop here or we move ahead also. That also helps us move ahead in life. So the real task that the parents have to do is prepare you to take your own path rather than not prepare your path. So I'm sure that you are also trying to inculcate this feeling in yourself, so that whenever a time comes to take a path, you would be able to make that right decision to take that path, and at the same time you would be able to rationalize it, at the same time be responsible for the outcomes by taking that path. So do not go into that complainers or the blamers association and try to think that, oh, I took that path since I was not guided, and that's why this outcome happened. If my parents would have guided me to this path, then I wouldn't have faced this outcome. You have to be responsible for your decisions. So if adversities comes, you have to understand how to overcome that adversity and take a new journey, so that you learn from that mistakes and then take a good direction. So in implementing this solution, what we have done through years of research and discussing with a lot of parents who had gone through this, and the youngsters who are now in the path of career choices and everything, we have come up with an interesting journey, which is a 6-month program. So first we define an aspirational goal, like the one you said, that you want to become aeronautical engineer, also wants to serve people. You somebody wants to achieve by actually clearing the CAT examination and want to be an MBA. So you define an aspirational goal, but how will you achieve is you have to constantly put that effort. It should be such aspiration goal that it will not allow you to sleep also. So whether that goal is like that, you have to identify. And if you have that, there would be a lot of distractions, there will be a lot of detours that you will take. But at the end, if you are fixed on your goal, you will reach that with the concerted effort if you're putting in. There would be multiple opportunities. Multiple options will be generated during that path. When you are setting that goal, it might happen that the way you thought you would be reaching that destination, you are not. But try to face those adverse scenarios. Do not shy away from those. If you shy away from those, some later date, you have to face it. Remember that. So whenever you are faced with those adverse scenarios, embrace them with a positive mind. Try to find out why are they adverse, how I can address it. Take multiple options, but fixed goal. You have to reach that destination, and you will reach there. The next option is, when you have decided on that, you have to take the path. However difficult that path might be, you have to walk that path. And do not keep on thinking that I have taken a good journey and now I can sit back and daydream whatever end at the destination. It is such a nice place I'm going to reach, and everything will happen and fall on place. It doesn't happen like that in the real world. So you have to put in that disciplined, consistent hard work towards achieving that. So you have to take those steps whenever you are taking that path. The next is develop a strong, determined, and laser focused, absolutely away from all the distractions. And time management is a key towards this. Do you know what time management is all about? Time management is all about defining your priorities. So if you have a short-term goal and a long-term goal, you have to define which is the one that you are going to target right now and how you are going to achieve it. And then if you can start prioritizing things properly, then you will have that focus to achieve those small targets, which small targets together put in will help you achieve that larger target. The next thing is seek inputs. Whatever happens is whenever I talk to youngsters, I have found a lot of youngsters saying that they actually try to keep their weaknesses to themselves, thinking that what other people will think when they come out into the open, they will become vulnerable. It is not like that. If you are making the right choices of role models, you're making the right choices of friends, you will be astonished to see how they will go out of their way to actually help you by identifying your weaknesses and give you those correct inputs to achieve success. But those persons needs to be enlightened enough to actually give inputs. So the best option is to go for the expert advice, which help you in crossing that finishing line, taking those firm steps in the right direction. It is very important to seek inputs. The next is a difficult choice happens is because you will see a lot of movies, a lot of other motivational talks would tell you follow your passion and you will be on the verge of creating something which is the wonderful career choice that you will have. But this is an interesting aspect that you have to first differentiate between your hobby and what could be your career choice. Your hobby might be such that it may not be translated into a career choice. So you have to keep on having that hobby even if you have a different career choice. So for Julia Winch from Forbes has actually identified that why follow your passion becomes a bad career choice, because it assumes that you only have one passion in life, while there could be multiple things you would be passionate about. It also assumes that passions do not change with time, while it actually is a rapidly and ever changing process. It assumes we already know what our passion is. This is exactly the point. We do not even sometimes know what our passion is, where our calling is. We have to identify them. We have to first nurture that. And we have to first differentiate between our hobby, our extracurricular activities, and a career choice. Sometimes it matches. Few people it matches. It's a actually a utopian situation. But even if it doesn't match it, how can you actually come in the blend of using the things that you do in your hobby in your career choice in a different way, maybe altogether, but some sort of applications come in and you have applied that in your career choice. And just because you have a passion for something, that does not mean that you are not good at any other things. And once you shift your life's passion into a job, it becomes just that. So you are if you think that you have only one passion, then after getting that job of choice, then you will not have any other passions. It assumes that this statement of follow your passion. So you have to constantly think there would be multiple things that you will be passionate about. You would be very passionate about doing analytics. At the same time, you would be very passionate about how Virat Kohli is creating a good century in a particular match. Watching that, so there are multiple perspectives to it, and it also underlines that it's a privileged message that it's not afforded to all because you have identified a passion and that's a calling. So it does not happen like that in the real world. Take a note of it. Yes, you should understand, identify your strength areas, and if you have a passion and a career matches with that, that's fine enough. But at the same time, if it does not match, it is not the end of the road. You can actually make a career out of certain strength areas that you have and actually apply your hobbies into that career. And so what we have to keep in mind is that there are at Yancha we believe a lot of things, that parents are also sincere, the children, the people, the young adults who are going through it, they are also very sincere. There has to be a constant open dialogue and communication that brings in a result. That is very important. And without having this sort of a process, what happens is you will tend to confuse between your profession and hobby. You will compare yourself with others. You will not be able to differentiate between the short-term and long-term goals. There would be a lot of digital distractions. You will lose focus and will not work hard for it. You will not be able to complete task. At the same time, you will try to give a excuse for that. You will fail to differentiate between reality and the dream. You will get carried away by a role model or by a story that says that this person suddenly was in a rags condition. He did something and he became rich, but you did not understand the underlying efforts that he put in. So do not get carried away or inappropriate role model stories. You fail to take ownership and the responsibility of the outcomes that happens because of the decisions and the choices that you are making at that point in time. And do not blame others because of the adverse outcome. Try to take onus. Then you will understand whenever you're putting that onus on yourself, you will have that constant urge to actually improve on the mistakes that are being done, so that the learnings are taken and then you move forward. And over a period of time, a lot of negative spiral comes in. There is a communication breakdown. You think something you want to do. The parents have a worldview. They want to make you understand that why this should not be perceived. And you went into a very negative spiral. Do not allow that to happen. Have a mature dialogue and try to understand that perspective that the parents are also bringing in with their experience. At the same time, try to bring in your new thoughts and why it is important. And then you will be in a positive spiral, so that even in adverse situations, you know that you can go and have a dialogue and try to figure out a solution. And it is not about getting approval, but taking those decisions and unshackling yourselves towards that, so that you are becoming responsible individual. You are making a good academic excellence. You are actually making a bright choice in your career, and you're becoming a responsible young adult. Our urge to all of you is to become responsible, take charge, because by 2030, India is going to be the youngest country, and we would be moving in from the fourth industrial revolution to the fifth. And India has the chance to take on the world as the world leader, and you will be the spearheaders who are going to do that. So take charge of life and move into that positive direction, so that we become the world leaders of tomorrow. Thank you. Thank you so much. Now we would be taking on if you have any questions.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. We have a question from Nazir again. He's saying that how to draw inspiration to keep going. Often I find myself doing nothing, but it's not like I don't have a goal, but it's like no desire. I have no desire to come out of the comfort zone and shift to required new normal these days. So this is his question, that he's not able to find the drive to do the thing, or maybe something like that.
Yeah, it is like we call it that evils of procrastination. What happens is we all go through this situation in some way or the other. We sometimes we feel that we should go with the flow, because it's somewhere down the line, it's predictable in some format, even if it's not challenging us, and it's giving us some sort of a predictable results. We try to be in that comfort zone. But as said, if you come out of that comfort zone and start putting in small efforts, you will see that life happens at the other end of that comfort zone, and you will start seeing interesting results coming in. So whatever you want to do, whatever you have a goal, do not try to define it in a vague way. Like, I want to be happy. This is a very vague goal. But by the end of 2021, I want to be having completed and accomplished the task of becoming a good content writer, so that I can start my blog, is a very specific goal. Can we come up with this sort of specific and measurable goals, so that we do not have to go with the flows that are happening nowadays in the new normal? Rather, we define them in such a way that it does not allow us to sleep, and we make efforts to do something about it. Then we will not be having in the comfort zone. We will be trying to put efforts to move out of that and create something which is called a trailblazing effort into the new unknown, which could discovery happens, and you will see that you are in a very interesting journey.
Yeah, I'll share my thought on this, but can I ask everyone to switch on their videos? Let us just see you all. So while you do that, Nazir, my thought here will be that you need to select a good role model. And a role model need not be a person. A role model can be also a tree.
Absolutely.
Just because a tree is outside, you will see that in spite of whether it's a cyclone or what comes, the tree tries to grow. it always tries to do. You know, whether someone will appreciate its flowers or not, it doesn't care. It has to do that, so it will do that. So you have to, this whole thought of working hard or working towards a goal, what happens is that when you don't have an exam, you're relaxing, but then there is always someone who is working on a new concept or a new thought. So it's not important for one to be told what to do. You should be able to create what to do, and that needs you to follow the right kind of role models who can inspire you in that. Now I can say XYZ was my role model, but that might not work for you. You might have to select who's the role model, who's the right role model for you only. You understand that?
Yeah, and one more thing is that
Yeah.
what happens is if we select some role models and we listen to them, there also is a chance that we are motivated at that particular time. But once that moves or shifts away, we tend to again move into that comfort zone. Rather than going into that direction, if you have some sort of a role model or you know certain things that actually inspires you, that will help you in that journey, and that will not move into oblivion. So that will keep on inspiring you in different formats. So if that is inspiring you in different formats, it will help you in doing certain things in that effort and in that journey.
Others also, not only Nazir, others also, please switch on the videos. Let us just see each other. Staring at a blank screen doesn't really add too much value. Okay, yeah, any other question? Yes, that's good. Looks lively. Yeah.
Yeah, any thoughts, any questions that you have?
Sir, I again have a question that how should, like, when we say a goal, I mean, isn't it so like we are chasing a mirage? I mean, when should I understand, like, okay, I should not chase this goal now, I should switch to something else. So what is the, I mean, what are the certain parameters working behind that to understand that thing कि ये नहीं हो पाएगा, we have to go for something else rather than wasting time on this particular thing.
Okay,
So
Arnab, I will take this. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So understand, in a very, since you are engineers, you know, so you need a flow diagram, you need a process flow to be able to work through, or a step-by-step instruction. Okay. So when you are saying it's net, it's an alignment of your capability. I had shown that in one of the slides before. What is your innate capability? You should be able to work towards yourself and understand yourself. Next is, what is your interest? Now, if I haven't, see, I want to be an artist. I can't even draw a straight line, or I can't forget making a picture. मुझसे photo तक नहीं होता ठीक से. I can't even take a photograph. And if I want to aspire to be an artist, I might become, but the effort behind it is going to be kind of, you know,
humongous.
10x.
Yeah.
So it's a false goal I am chasing because I don't have that capability. I don't have that innate capability. So if I choose an area of interest which is aligned to my innate capability, then I will, and that when gets aligned to the opportunities, that is where you get the right goals. The wrong goals are those where I see something, I get motivated, I will do that, and I got no innate ability about it. I want to cook, I want to become a good chef, and I have got no ability to distinguish between the masalas. Forget it. You know, how will I ever become a chef? So be real. But this being real is a difficult task. It's very difficult because then you know what is your core. So if you look at Arnab and me, when we set up Yancha, we are just parents and we have a whole understanding about consulting and the way it works. And we just deployed all of those into something which we really are interested in. So over 15, 20 years of experience, we know how things work, how human behaviors work. And then we interpret that into a different segment of society, which is children as well as youngsters, because that is where the maximum impact happens. And there was nothing available. And when we kind of, you know, moved into that direction, that is where Yancha came and kind of, you know, you have a solution. Today we are going through a discussion about it. So it is about that we had a capability, innate capability. We wanted to do something. We had an interest in that area and we created our opportunity. understand, Nazir, that the opportunity that we did was something that we created for ourselves. Always that opportunity need not come from others. An entrepreneur is one who creates that opportunity. Okay, so if I am waiting for someone to create an opportunity and then I go and take a job there or something, then you keep waiting. Versus you make it happen. Yeah. So again, it links back. So all of these are linked. As you go more into it, you'll see all of these things are very beautifully linked to each other.
Yeah, and when you talk about innovation also, so you are thinking something beyond what is available now. So if you want to become an innovator, you cannot wait for things to happen, right? You have to create something which is not what people have thought of, and that becomes a solution for everybody to deploy. And there lies a lot of status quo challengers, where people as young as you can take up and create certain things, and those become your goals to actually create, and that will allow other people to in fact define their goals, seeing what you have achieved. And sometimes what happens is you might be good at certain things in your hobbies, in your extracurricular. Like I had to decide at some point in time. I was playing cricket, whether I should continue playing cricket or I should move into a career path. And I had a long discussion with my dad, and I had to actually decide which is the best option right now. That was defining the priority at that point in time, keeping in the possibilities and opportunities at that point in time. Today, you might think that there are so many opportunities. Why did you leave, sir? But at that point in time, there were none. So we have to decide whether we keep on doing it up to a certain level and then leave it like that, or we create a career path and keep on nurturing your hobbies and extracurriculars. Wherever you get an opportunity to play, you play. So this is how these decision makings happen in your goal setting path. So you have to actually understand and then have those dialogues, prioritize things, and then move by selecting those in short chunks so that it becomes a larger goal that is achieved.
So every year we particularly see, students and professionals taking exams like IIT, JEE, or several such exams, and years after years, if you see the IAS exam, they keep on repeating, just in the hope of like someday it will happen. So is this mentality right? I mean, this while loop going on where there's one just if statement that if this success happens, then only that loop will खत्म होगा नहीं तो वो नहीं होने वाला it will keep on happening. So this particular thing mindset right? I mean, I always wanted to know.
It again depends on what exactly you are looking at it. I will answer this from very different dimensions. What happens is whenever you will see there are a lot of things that happens in life. Somebody have fixed a particular goal and they are unable to see beyond that. So when these things happen, what happens is people keep on try to replicate those loops, try to find solace in doing certain things. Sometimes people have that opportunity to actually keep on delaying, which is called delaying your career path. Sometimes people do not have that opportunity. So there are people who will do this, while there are people who, after getting rejected, will take up alternate things. So why does this exactly happen? So you first have to understand that there are certain mindsets that are in place here. You only have a limited knowledge about particular things. Then you try to replicate certain things that are within that knowledge. Even if someone tries to make you understand that there are other availabilities, you will try to think that if I go through that, I will miss out on this opportunity, which I thought to be, in my self esteem, the perfect opportunity. And people start losing out on that. I have seen a lot of people in careers. They have actually tried because they wanted to do something better. They have left that here thinking. In fact, in medical, a lot of my friends who wanted to pursue MD, it has happened that they wanted to do something in the better, if better ranks available. But unfortunately, they kept on delaying it. And at some point in time, they have to take up some lower ranks and the lower availabilities. So you have to be very clear about what you actually want to do rather than going into that loop. You will think that certain times what happens is we keep on thinking that this guy was not even good in my class. He was not that intelligent. And how could he achieve certain things? But what happens is you are judging his intelligence based on certain criteria of academic excellence and something like that. Perhaps he had certain skills which helped him excel later on in life, which were required. So do not judge certain things from that mindset. People try to do that from their own perspective, their own understanding. Your mindset, your thing is where you want to make a difference. You want to move ahead. You want to reach your own potential. So those mindsets are completely different. If you have inculcated certain behavioral aspect, you know the resilience, you know that if one opportunity is not provided to you, you can grow beyond that opportunity into 10 other opportunities that will be opening up for yourself. If you can walk towards it, you can achieve a better thing rather than getting limited into that loop of trying to achieve a particular goal.
Right.
Does that answer your question?
Yes, I understand the fact.
Okay.
So does this translate to the fact that abilities also matter to a good extent, and everybody can't do everything? I mean,
Absolutely. So that is where you need to identify your own capabilities and interests to match with the opportunities available. Do not try to do something like that. If you are trying to make a fish climb a tree, you're judging a wrong intelligence, right? So there is no point in actually trying to create those capabilities.
got it, sir. So does anybody else have any other question, or shall we conclude? I think it's 7 right now. Let me see the chat box if there are any other questions. No, there are no questions in the chat box. So I think Shushavan, you please share your screen to show that thing. Are you there, Shushavan?
Yes, I'm.
Uh,
Is it visible, Rishabh?
yeah, it is visible. So, sir, this is for you as an alumni of our institute. This is a e-certificate in some way.
E is very good. Without E, things don't work nowadays.
Yeah. Every year we had alumni coming to our institute, but because the COVID situation, the everything is hampered. The college is itself it is closed for the last 1.5 year.
Right.
Again, the way to look at it, if the tech framework was not there, sorry, if the technology bandwidth was not there, even these meetings couldn't have happened. So that is what I say. The moment you change the way of thinking, you suddenly see that there are so many possibilities actually which are there. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Carry on. Yes.
Yeah.
Rishabh, yeah.
So I would like to conclude here. So I would like to extend my hearty gratitude to Mr. Shogata Nondi and Mr. Arnob Basu on behalf of Center for Alumni Affairs and International Relations, NIT Durgapur, and Student Alumni Interaction Cell, NIT Durgapur. I would like to thank all other members for being a lovely audience. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. And whatever be your feedback and inputs, please do send across to us. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.